Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Eeks and Geeks.
Hi.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Siberia.
And I'm Pumpkin.
Hey, we're your geeks. We're your geeks, and we're here with the Eeks.
Oh, okay, we're dropping bars.
We're working. It's a work in progress, but
You're pumped by the smooth intro. You just had the
yeah, I was feeling it. How's everyone doing? What's going on?
Pretty good.
I've recovered from this movie finally, I think.
Yeah, sorry, this was sadder than I remember.
Yeah, Siberia texted me, was like, "Did you watch Cargo?" I said, "Yeah." She was like, "I'm sad."
As a brief synopsis, this is our second pick in our zombie movie block. This was my pick, and the movie was Cargo. Cargo is a dramatic apocalypse film that came out in 2017 about a family in the Australian outback fighting to survive a virus long enough to deliver their child to safety before the infection takes hold. The movie currently sits on Rotten Tomatoes with an 87% from critics and 66 rating from audiences. So that's what we're talking about.
I'm surprised the audience score is so low.
Yeah,
I am
Me
also
too. I'm also surprised. That's why I was like so nervous to pick it, because I was like, oh my God, do people not like this movie?
Yeah.
I keep getting all psyched out by Rotten Tomatoes. Anybody watch anything before we get into it? Have we watched anything since last week?
I've just
Anime.
been watching anime.
Same.
That's all I've been watching. Yeah, that's all I've been watching.
Our frequently or our like past watches are getting less interesting because we're all binging different.
It's also not like horror movie season.
true.
It's really not. It's very dry right now. Oh, I watched Cocaine Bear. That's what
Oh,
yeah.
what'd you think?
I need to hear your thoughts on that.
I thought it was exactly what I was expecting.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was very much just like, it's a movie about a bear on cocaine. So it didn't like wow me in any way, but it was like perfectly acceptable.
Oh my God, me and my mom were crying, laughing in the movie theater. They're like, I won't spoil it, but the scene in the lodge and the ambulance.
Yes. Yeah.
Me and my mom were cracking up the whole time. My mom looks at me and goes, "Are we laughing at people dying?"
I think I wanted it to be a little bit more something funny, maybe. I don't know. Not that it wasn't funny. I would say it was like less enjoyable than like Anaconda. I feel like Anaconda's a little bit more, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because Anaconda has like
goofy.
It is super goofy, and this like is like almost to that goof level. But for me, it was just like it felt just like a smidge short. But I still enjoyed it. It was fine. It was like exactly what you would expect. So,
Okay.
good times.
The review I heard was not enough cocaine, not enough bear.
I don't know. There was a lot of
fucking
I
cocaine.
would say there was a lot of cocaine and a lot of bear.
A lot of fucking cocaine in it.
Yeah, I don't think that would be my gripe with it. I think it just needed to like be a little goofier.
Do you hear what the real story of the cocaine bear was? Because it's like based off a true story.
Yeah, which I didn't know, because like when we pulled it up, it had like a documentary next to it, and I didn't really get it. And then when it started playing, it was like based off of true events, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then Joe was like, no, it actually is.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh.
It's actually like the real story is actually kind of sad. Like the whole beginning part, like that guy's name is real. Like when he's dumping the cocaine off of the plane, like that all happened. But like in reality, the bear ate all the cocaine and just died.
Yeah, my friend was telling me that like, I guess it was a big thing that the bear, like, because they like found the bear, and they taxidermied it in some way. I don't know if like into a rug or whatever, but I guess it was like famously passed between a lot of wealthy people, and now nobody knows where the bear is.
Oh my God,
that's sad.
I know.
Yeah, that was
like that's like
kind of
really
like what's his name from Anastasia? But he was a real guy.
Oh,
Rasputin.
Like his penis. Like nobody knows where his penis is, right? Yeah.
Like somebody has it, right?
Somebody has Rasputin's penis, but I think they don't know who.
I'm sure someone has it and they know about it.
I have it.
They have to.
I have it.
I'm looking in the corner.
Yeah. Don't know where it is.
I've got a little game.
A game.
games.
Everyone's been doing games, and I'm like, well, I want to stay in the spirit of doing little games because that's fun. It's not a point-based game, but it's a bit of a zombie would you rather.
Ooh.
I love Would You Rather.
I do too.
So I got 5. I was trying to think of some fun ones. Okay. So given that our last zombie pick was 28 Days Later, this one is Cargo, and now we have seen 2 versions of being turned into a zombie. So would you rather have a virus that turns you very fast or have a virus that turns you very slow?
Fast.
Yeah,
For
fast.
me,
I agree, fast.
Yeah.
if I'm turning fast, if other people are turning slow.
Still no, because the anticipation and the having to deal with it, like I personally would rather deal with the aftermath than have to be like, you're gonna die in a day.
Yep. That's how, because I know during 20 Days Later, we were all talking about like how awful that would be to like be talking to someone and then 2 seconds later you have to like kill them. And that, but I was like talking to Joe, I was like, I'm sorry, you would just have to live with that trauma, because having to go through the existential dread of like debating your own mortality and like knowing exactly to the hour, like how long. That was awful. No. That was really, truly.
I feel like it would give me time to like make a plan and be like, okay, guys, I have been bit. I got 48 hours. Let's try to get this shit figured out before I have to like blow my fucking brains out.
Well, but okay, so I feel like that was really beneficial for him, because if you have a baby, you would certainly want to, like, especially if you're like just by yourself and you have a baby, you would definitely want the time to figure your shit out. Yeah. But I feel like in most other scenarios,
I don't need to figure anything out.
I don't think you would need to like sort your affairs, you know? You would just be like.
This movie just like shows so well why you don't want the slow one.
Yeah.
I think too, the slow one does, like, it hurts. Like you're having like seizures and throwing up and stuff. So that's.
It just looks painful.
Yeah. It just looks awful.
Yeah, I guess the instant one.
It was gross.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. Yeah. Okay, the next one. In a zombie apocalypse setting, would you rather have unlimited access to food and water or to guns and ammo / weapons?
Food and water.
Food and water.
Yeah.
Where am I? Am I at home?
You're anywhere where there's either or. I don't know.
Because I feel like that really depends on my like situation. Like, what am I in dire need of right now?
That's
I feel like if I'm not fed, is it worth living?
True.
Yeah,
an existence of like just always constantly like having to actually find your next meal would just like really suck.
I mean, honestly,
food and water. If I can like bunker down, then food and water. But if I'm on the run, like I'm moving, I want
let's imagine your scenario is like you're on the move. You're not just like stagnant somewhere.
I'll take the guns and ammo. If I'm not
food and water. Because like I can pick up a stick and go in your head.
Yeah. Think of how hard like just accessing.
I'm not scared of the zombies. Water. I'm scared of the other people.
Oh, because they are sometimes worse than the zombies.
Almost
they
always.
Usually are, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the running theme, isn't it?
I don't know. You can go 3 days without water. So
I'm in Colorado. There's not a lot of fresh water here. I'd be a little.
I'm in Georgia. We got streams and creeks and whatever. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. I'll eat like a fish out of this creek. It'll be okay.
Okay. I feel like this is a good one. Would you rather have zombies that are fast, but they're only active at night, or they're slow, but they're active all hours of the day?
Fast at night, like I Am Legend?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
I also think I'd go with that.
Yeah, because
that gives you time to like come up with a plan for nighttime.
Yeah,
because you at least have a guaranteed time of rest.
Yeah,
you could like find a closet and just lock yourself in there and sleep.
Just hunker down at night.
Yeah.
But they're fast. Like, what if you're out at night and they're like all out?
Then
I have too much anxiety. I can't even get to something late. Like, trust me, I'm planned. I know what time it is. Okay, I know what time it is.
That's just like I said, like in like The Last of Us, when you see like when Joel's running and like that one's behind him, like I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Because I feel like, well, even if they were slow and they were always active, I feel like it would feel like It Follows, like that part where they're sleeping and they're still coming into your house and shit. They're both terrible scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an interesting one I was thinking of, because now the last two movies we have watched, the zombies have been contained, I would say, more to like, not that Australia is like an island, but like a smaller body of land. So would you rather have the virus be contained to an island or a small body of land where it's like bad and you're on the island when the outbreak happens, but you have the hopes of getting off the island, or just have it be like a worldwide outbreak that everyone is dealing with, and like, you know, hopefully you find safe places. There's probably safe places like anywhere.
Contained.
Hope.
You'd want the hope of getting off.
Yeah, contained, because like I hope like say we're stuck on like Australia, I would hope how much United States like meddles in other people's business save me.
Yeah, I think I have to agree, because like if it's everywhere, I would be like, we're fucked. Blow my brains out. I'm not doing this.
Worse odds.
But if it's like I'm just in London and it's only happened here and the rest of the world is okay, I just need to get out of London. I just need to get out of the UK and I'll be okay. So I feel like that's a little bit more like, hopeful. And I feel like I could make that happen. But like if it's just everywhere and I just gotta try to find somewhere that's okay to rest. I don't know. I'm not doing that.
Okay. Last, would you rather?
Let's do it.
Okay. Would you rather be in like a super safe compound? Like you've got walls, you're farming, like you've got like a whole super safe setup in a community, but there's like a crazy leader that like in Last of Us, like the crazy religious guy, or like in The Walking Dead, where you've got like someone that's like ruling your compound and they're crazy and you have to like do whatever they say, or just like be fending for yourself, like on the outside.
That really depends on what kind of crazy ish.
I guess that's true. I'm thinking, okay, let's say they're like the guy in The Last of Us, like they're like killing people. Like you're all good and like you're farming and like you've got this whole community,
but cannibals.
But they are cannibals.
But like if you become the weak link, like you're out.
You're out. Yeah. So it's like high stakes of like you can't just like leave or fight the guy or whatever. Like you kind of just have to like.
Then I think I want to fend for myself.
Yeah, I'll fend for myself.
You know, I survived long enough in the church. I think I'd make it. I think I would
fake it till you make it.
As long as they don't like do like a whole sex slavery thing or whatever.
We'll say there's no sex slavery.
I think I could get over it. I know I'd probably be rolling my eyes, but I do that enough as is. I've worked in a male-dominated industry, okay? I think I'd probably suck it up and be like, at least I have a roof over my head and nobody's trying to eat my brains, so a win is a win.
It's a tough one. I think I would maybe deal with it too.
Yeah.
Sorry if that makes me a worse person.
Because if I had to fend for myself, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm out. Like, unless there's like some sense of like
stability,
safety. Yeah, that's
if
where
I could become like that old couple in The Last of Us that's just like chilling in the woods. Like,
I mean, that's like zombie apocalypse best case scenario, but I feel like that's kind of rare.
Yeah, if I was like a Bill and Frank, like I just was like in my house and I was all good and I knew I was safe, like that would be fine. But if it was like you're just out there,
fall in love with a prepper. That's all you got to do, and then you're good. You're good to go.
Okay, that was my Would You Rather game.
That was fun. I like that.
Okay, I'm so eager to know all of your thoughts. No one has said a peep about this movie, so I'm very curious. I'll start. I feel like I always start with Kirsten, but I'm gonna go Pumpkin. What do you think?
I'll start with my score first. I give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. Of course, you already said it's not a horror. I do wish it was like a little scarier, but it was like so heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, just like, oh my God, how much more are you gonna put these poor people through?
Yeah.
Like, can Martin Freeman please have a good day? Please.
Can he have a break?
But yeah, beautiful cinematography. I actually really love the like type of zombies that these are, and we'll get into that more later. But I really like it because I feel like the type of zombies they put in this movie, I was like, they just felt kind of like realistic. Like if a zombie apocalypse happened, I was like, I feel like this is kind of how it would be, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, all of the acting was fantastic. I really felt for all the characters. Yeah, I liked it. I really liked it.
Yay!
I would definitely recommend it to other people.
Okay. Siberia, what'd you think?
This movie fucking put me through it, man. Like, I watched it at 10 a.m. today.
Yeah, you were watching it
my day.
I like just woke up and you were like, fuck this movie. I was like, oh, hello? Morning.
Yeah, that's when I was like 15 minutes in and the mom had gotten bit and I was like, And like you were saying about it being scarier, but like I still felt like it was a horror, as in like the absolute sense of dread you just have the entire movie, because you're like, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
like
you have the
it's
countdown.
gonna happen.
Yeah,
like it's just like there's no avoiding it, and so the whole time you're just like ripping. And it's just so suspenseful, and it's done so well, and Martin Freeman's such a good actor.
Oh yeah,
so good.
I literally love him so much.
All of these scenarios are so realistic, and like the villain is so good. Like he's so believable as a person in that world. Like it's so gross, but like, yeah, I also give this movie an 8.5. It was so good.
Yay! Okay, Kirsty, what'd you think?
Watching this, it felt a lot like Walking Dead type drama. Like I felt like I was watching an episode of The Walking Dead, which isn't a bad thing, because Walking Dead was good.
It had its seasons.
Yeah. I will say there are parts that dragged a little for me, which is why I give it an 8 out of 10. It would be higher. Some of those parts didn't drag a little bit, but yeah, very realistic zombies. I wasn't as sad. I did get more emotional, like when he sprays the perfume so it calms her down, because like my mom has like a specific like scent with her perfume, so like not like knowing that child gets calm like that, I was like, and then like even at the end when he sprays it to like calm,
that part got my ass.
I think that stuff got me a lot more than that. But yeah, these zombies felt like if we were to have an outbreak like this, that's what I feel like it would be.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, that's why I give it 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I was only worried because it's not like a horror in the traditional sense, but I agree, Siberia, it's very horrifying. It's like one of those horror movies that it's not like, you know, jump scares and like in that sense, but it's just like such a horrifying situation. And the dread is just like from the second he gets bit, you're just like,
you're watching him get hit, you're like, this isn't happening right now.
And that sense of the countdown and like the inevitable is so rough. And I think the setting is very unique. I didn't like compile a fun fact section, but this movie was very heavily made with the input of Aboriginals from Australia. Obviously, the actors are Aboriginals. One of the writers is an Aboriginal person. So all of like the stuff with their sort of shaman character and like their, I don't want to say like myths, but you know, like their sort of cultural elements are all like correct and true to those people, which I think is really cool. So I think that's cool. Like definitely a unique setting for an apocalypse movie. I can't think of, or not apocalypse, but a zombie movie. I can't think of anything else that's like sort of Australian outback like that. Obviously Martin Freeman, love him. And I feel like not only did it remind me in a lot of ways of The Last of Us, because it's like a father-daughter, it's like zombie light, but like character driven. You got the father-daughter relationship. So I it's very reminiscent of The Last of Us and like Pedro Pascal. And I feel like Martin Freeman is like in the same category as Pedro Pascal for me. Just like love him, would watch him in anything that he does.
Adorable dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's such an amazing actor, and he just like boots the houses down in this whole movie. The zombies are so gross.
So
I think
gross.
like again, in the way that like The Last of Us has really unique zombies, I feel like this is like a type of zombie where it's just like a visceral I don't even want to look at them.
Substance, like it's like that
goo.
Like, it's so gross.
Like the way it like gunks over their eyes. Ew.
Yeah,
and
the gunk on the eyes. I was like,
so gross. But I was trying to find anything from the directors or like interviews or anything of anyone talking about the choice and all of the imagery for like the zombies like burying their heads in the sand.
Yes.
I thought was such a cool, like, and I love some of those scenes where he's sort of like the virus is just like starting to scratch at him, and then it's cut with like he's imagining starting to dig the hole to put his head in. I just like love those
like,
scenes.
what is that? Like, what is it about? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And they say something when they're in the tunnel. I couldn't hear exactly what she said, whether she said they hate the dark or they need the dark or something when she's like they need the dark. So it's like something about burying their heads in the sand. I just thought that was like, I really like
that's
that.
What they do during the day.
That's what it is. They're just trying to get their heads in the dark.
That's really scary.
Yeah. Terrifying. So yeah, I think I would give it an 8.5. So that's got to put us at like
an 8.4.
Something like that. Which is higher than audience. Again, I agree. I think kind of a little bit of a surprisingly low audience score.
I wonder if it's because people were expecting a horror and they were like, this wasn't scary.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I want to look at them.
It puts us at 8.45.
Okay, there you go. I would expect it from audience to be like at least a 75. I think a 66 is like a little bit unfairly low, but
yeah, that seems really low. I want to look at some of the audience reviews really quick if there are.
I was reading some of them and people were just saying that it was like not adding anything new to the genre, but I don't think that's. I would say it's actually like
it did.
Yeah, what?
It's like it is totally unique. I don't know.
Like even just that scene of like him having the person in the cage and like shooting the zombies to get the shit off them, like that is something I've never thought of before. It's so
yeah. I mean, because there are like a few different things that I really liked about these zombies. I liked that it takes 2 days. Because that makes sense for a sickness. Like when you catch a cold, you're not immediately sick. It takes well, it usually takes 3 to 5 days, but I feel like they had to do.
And you start feeling it, but it doesn't quite
get you. Have like a tickle in your throat. You're like, I think it's just allergies.
Maybe one cough, and you're like, I'm not sick. It's just a scratchy throat.
Yeah, and so
allergies.
Yeah.
I like that they start off with just kind of they show the symptoms on a thing. I think it was like fever, nausea, stuff like that. And so that was like very realistic. Like if this is a sickness, if they're infected type zombies, like that makes sense. And then I liked that they're kind of these one thing that's never made sense to me for a lot of zombies is that they will like bite one person and then get up and like keep running and they just like leave these bodies behind. But these zombies, like they will eat anything. They are just like ravenous for meat. It can be a dead bird. It can be like a person who's been laying out in the sun for 5 days.
Yeah.
They will eat rotten meat.
Yeah.
And they'll actually like eat you. And I feel like that just makes so much more sense than the kind of zombies that just bite and keep going.
That are just biting to bite. Yeah. It's like, what would their purpose for that be?
Yeah, like what I mean, I guess unless it's like based on like rabies, like some kind of like
you're just trying to like infect as many as you can.
Yeah, because I think that's the type that's hinted at in a Rec, is that it's supposed to be like a mutation of rabies or whatever. So that like kind of makes sense, but for a lot of zombies, like just biting and running is like, why would they do that?
Yeah, it's not even really about they're trying to bite you. They're trying to eat you.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to bite you. They're trying to like consume your whole body.
Yeah, and these zombies, they will eat your entire body. And
Yeah.
so I like that. I just feel like these zombies are like, if there was a zombie outbreak, this is probably kind of a lot more what it would look like.
Yeah.
And I think so.
Also, do we think it's contained just to Australia? They never specified. They just only had the Australian
They
date.
don't ever specify. Not that I caught. So
I love
don't
that
know.
we got no backstory, no
Yeah.
lore. Just there are
It's just
zombies.
like it just starts and it's like they're just this is where they live now.
Yeah.
They're just here. But I do also think it's so funny that in the last episode you were saying that the safest place for
It's a boat.
is
they
a boat.
were safe on the boat until her dumbass.
Okay, well, should we get into
Let's
the
get
plot
into
so
it.
we can actually
Let's get into it.
Okay, I have it broken into 6 parts, which is a little bit more than normal, but I felt like that's kind of just naturally how it was shaken out. Okay, the first and short. Okay, let's get into the plot. Part 1. In a world recently overtaken by a virus that infects people within 48 hours, Andy Rose, his wife Kay, and their baby Rosie are her name Rosie Rose? Sorry.
That's what I call my cat. Her name is Rosie Rose.
That's so funny.
Just realizing that they named their child Rosie Rose. Anyway, and their baby Rosie are traveling down a river on a houseboat in rural Australia. Short on food, Kay suggests going ashore and scavenging, but Andy rejects this, arguing it would be safer to remain on the river until they reach their destination, a supposed refuge. The next day, Andy searches an abandoned sailboat and retrieves some supplies, but when Kay ventures out to collect more, she is bitten by an infected human.
Like an idiot.
Yeah, she shouldn't have wandered
because
off.
he heard it in the boat. Like he had
To
that
be
minute.
fair, I don't think he
Yep.
told her.
He didn't. He just
No.
like hears something and then he's like, it's probably fine. And then she goes on the boat and it's like, it wasn't fine.
It was
I knew
not
it wasn't
fine. I knew it wasn't fine. Although I thought it was hilarious that he sets up this whole fishing prank to tell her, hey, I got more supplies. I was like, why would you do that?
Right.
This actually isn't a joking situation. I mean, how about we not pull pranks?
Not the time.
In the apocalypse.
Also, when she does get bitten, I do like that they don't give away what the zombies look like just yet.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
they keep you in the dark.
Yeah.
Because
And it
then
gives-
the first exposure you get is like seeing her turn. Right?
There's that one that gets them in the car, which is in the next
Oh,
section, or that comes at them in the car.
I want to know how she got away though, because like all you see is like her just like getting pulled,
Yeah.
and then it
I
jumps
think
over
it
to
got
her.
like one bite of her leg and she's able to rip free and then
Get out the boat.
out of the boat.
Yeah.
But and that bite, the bites
Awful.
look nasty. Because then a lot of
Mhm.
zombie movies, they have like just teeth marks, like it,
Yeah.
it's just like bite. But these
No,
zombies
these were
were
like-
like
They
they were
take some shit
hungry.
with
They
them.
were like,
Yeah.
Damn, I just thought
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was. No, it's not funny, but like when she pulls it open and it's just like this like chunk, and it's like and he's like, man, like the way he responds like to the chunk in her leg, I'm like,
Well,
what?
so that sort of lack of showing it, they sort of have this moment of like, well, it could have been anything. So
Yeah.
let's not be too hasty. But then because I think he's very much in denial.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're gonna bleed out. And she's like, it had fingers. So it's happening,
Yeah.
And then I also think part of the like lore of the world having that like kit where
Mhm.
it's like it has the handcuffs and like the mouth guard
Yes.
and then
Mhm.
like the ice pick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that's very how did you get those? Like where
Yeah.
did you
Mhm.
It's
guessing
like the
they were
COVID.
like,
it's like
yeah.
the COVID package. they
Yeah.
gave us.
Yeah,
Guessing
yeah,
they
I'm sure
were-
like the government just sort of started distributing like
Kill
emergency
yourself.
zombie kill yourself kits.
I have to say, at first I thought it was like an EpiPen type situation.
I
and
did
I
too.
was like,
too.
Like sort
I
of
was
an
like, oh,
ejector
shit.
needle.
there's
Yeah.
already a cure. That's cool. And then they show the diagram, shows like put it against your head and it like
Uh-huh.
shinks out this
Mhm.
giant ass needle. And I was like, oh, no.
They didn't cure it.
No, I
it's
thought
a
that.
permanent cure.
I thought the same. I thought the same thing when she pulled it out. I was like, "Oh, is that like a cure? What?
You're like,
How is
oh
this-"
great. It's like
Like,
not even a
how-
big deal.
I was like, "Is she gonna? Why is she hiding it?" And I'm like, "Oh,
She got the old
That's
kill
yourself.
herself needle out.
I'm sorry. If I were her, I just would have done it. I would have been like, so sorry. I love both of y'all.
Well, I think she was trying to, but he comes in just like right when she's kind of getting it out.
Anyway.
That imagining that is like literally like I would rather
Awful.
do anything. I would rather do anything.
It's
else
just
than
like
that.
I mean I know we'll get to that, but like when he like tries to psych himself up, that would be me. It like
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that would be really hard because you would still just feel so. You would just feel like yourself, and
Yes.
just like having to like really take to try to be like, I'm just gonna do it. I just got to do it, and that would be real. That would be so hard.
No, I'm literally. I hate
Yeah,
it.
it's awful.
What I have to say is too dark. I'm not gonna say that. Never
mind. Okay, part 2 sort of covers this part that we're already talking about. So in part 2, Andy finds Kay bandaging her wounds and in denial insists that they get her to a hospital to prevent her from bleeding out. On land, they find an abandoned car and set out toward what their map indicates is a large town. While driving, they swerve to avoid an Aboriginal man standing in the road and crash into a tree. Kay is impaled and Andy faints. By the time he wakes, Kay has fully turned and bites him. Andy removes Rosie from the car and prepares to defend himself against the man, who is also turned, but a girl named Toomey appears and reveals that the man is her father. Toomey has been hiding Willie from her mother Josie and the rest of her community because the Aboriginals are systemically killing and burning the infected. She believes her father can be cured by having a shaman restore his soul.
I forgot.
Honestly, they're slaying the game. Like,
oh yeah,
that's what you do. Yeah,
we can get into them later, but like
they're killing the game.
They're doing it. They're doing it correctly.
Yeah, they're doing it how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, in terms of like we were talking about, if you were on a small area of land, if you had people that already knew how to live off the land and they were just like, we're just gonna kill everyone that's infected, like, and we're gonna like do it right, and we're gonna do it successfully. Yeah, it's like slay.
Yeah. I forgot earlier when I didn't even realize that like the infected outbreak had already happened when they're going down the river and Andy like sees the other family having a birthday party and the dad just like pulls out a gun. I was like, what is happening?
Birthday party.
What a weird birthday party. And then once I realized that it was because the infected are already happening, I was like, why are you having a birthday party out in the woods?
The last birthday party.
Like, it was so
giving Mad Hatter.
I'm really curious what was happening with that other family, because I feel like the dad was just not all there. Like they were a weird family.
We see this.
Yeah, they were.
Well, we do see, honestly, at that point, because their timelines are almost identical. So like that dad probably had like maybe had just been bitten or was just about to be bitten. So maybe there was a zombie like in their camp.
But I would have been like, can I get on your boat with you? Can we come get on the boat with you? Can we all come? Right. I would not like pull out a gun and threaten him. I'm like, let me on your boat,
I'd have
please.
been like, these bitches got a boat.
Yeah, like I want to go live with them.
Well, I guess he doesn't turn fast enough, but it could have been like, don't bother, kind of like a don't bother coming here kind of thing, because we're already fucked.
Yeah, he just seemed like a weird guy.
Yeah, he's going through it. He was going through it. Yeah.
I wonder if he had too much pride to accept help from other people, and he was like, "No, I'll protect my family. We don't need you." Maybe. I don't know. He was weird. Once we like see them later, I was like, "Why were you so weird earlier?
What were you up to?"
Hey.
Martin Freeman's acting, like, but everybody, like, actors show like frustration and anger like kind of the same, and just like that like after she turns and he just does the thing where he like stands there and he like screams for a second and then he's calm again. Oh my god, it's so good.
That scream was so good, and so like it just feels so real, like just being in a moment of like he knows he's so fucked, and like not only did he just have to kill his wife, and now he knows he's fucked. He's got to figure out what to do with his kid. It would just like that frustration and that feeling would just so come out of you like that.
And like, but then you have to get it back together to be like,
okay,
just like, now I have to do it.
Okay, we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
There was another moment of his when she says it had fingers, and he goes, "Fuck."
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
just like lets it out, and then he like gets it back together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So
He's just
good.
so, God damn it, he's such a good actor. He just
so
makes it all
good.
feel so real.
A
Yeah.
little
I gotta
Bilbo.
say, I was so, as soon as he sees his wife has turned and he like starts to reach this way, I was like, no, she's gonna get her.
No.
Ah, she got your arm. You
Yeah,
dumb
when he reached over, I
No.
was like, no.
And she went for it. Like she was like,
Although it hadn't been 48 hours for her, had it?
It probably had. I
Well,
think their time on the boat.
Well, he even made the comment of like, if you bleed out, it turns you faster.
Oh, does it?
Oh,
Did he say
okay.
that?
oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
he said the more you bleed, the faster you turn.
Well, and she had just been impaled, so it probably
Like
really
sped it up.
expedited
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I wonder if that's the kind of like rabies. It's like it's trying to keep its host alive for as long as possible. It's like,
Right.
get some nutrients, get meat.
Yeah.
Burn faster, yeah.
Oh,
I know.
I
Although,
just hate it.
She was so smart when she sees the zombie coming and she uses the blinker to get his attention instead of yelling.
Oh,
that was
really
so
good, yeah.
smart.
And her writing like save her in her blood. Like,
yeah.
My heart.
I hate this movie.
I was literally just sitting here being like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Literally, why? Why is this happening?
Yeah, as soon as he got bit, I was like, oh no, what's he gonna do with her?
And the second I saw Toomey like feeding something, I was like, she's gonna be the slay of this movie. I know.
Yeah, I was like,
this is her first acting role, so.
Shut up.
Wow. But I was like, she's got a pet zombie. You already know she's badass.
She's she's like what's her face in Michonne and when you first met her in Walking Dead, and she's like got her brothers looking at her.
Yeah, she's figured out like the paint. I love that they I mean that's later, but how they figure out like how to hide themselves is really cool.
Yeah.
Part 3, Andy reaches the town, but it is much smaller than expected and deserted apart from Etta, a school teacher who takes care of him and Rosie for the night. Etta explains that all of her students and their families, most of them Aboriginals, have discarded modern trappings and gone back to their old ways. She warns Andy to hide his bite mark. Andy wakes later than expected the next morning after experiencing his first seizure from the virus. When Andy and Rosie leave, Etta shows them a picture of Toomey and her family and tells Andy to find them and leave Rosie in their care. So this is just like a little scene, but I think it's interesting.
I liked her a lot, though.
Yeah, this idea of this is sort of what we were saying. Like, if the outbreak was everywhere, like, what do you do? Where do you go? And it's like there's this hope that there's these refuges. You're just like, I feel like that you see that a lot in zombie movies. It's like we think this is a safe place, and you go, and it's just like, oh,
there's like one lady here.
It sucks in some way, like whether it's like a bunch of dudes trying to like start a sex cult, or it's just like one lady who's like, yeah, this isn't anything here.
You got a sex cult guy or a Negan.
Yeah. It always just kind of sucks when they get there, and this would be so stressful because he's got a countdown, so it's like, okay, well, now where do we go? Like, I have to find somewhere to get her. That would just be so stressful.
And then including that countdown bracelet in the government.
That like how they have that on there. Yeah, the government thing where you just you click it and it's already ready to go.
Smart though.
Yeah,
horrible, but like helpful.
America would never.
No.
There is no zombie outbreak.
No.
So that's
everybody get back to work.
From Florida.
Yeah.
That's not a zombie outbreak. You're good to keep going around.
Yeah, get back to work, slaves.
When the zombie outbreak, if it happens, I've seen things of people talking about how zombies can't survive a certain temperature. No. So colder places are better. So you guys can trek across the country, come to Colorado.
Okay.
It depends on the type of zombie.
I think it's kind of all of them because they have a virus, and viruses have to be at like a certain. Someone did like some,
But not all zombies are virus based.
Who's not?
Some zombies are magical. The brain eating kind. Yeah.
I don't know them.
Anyway,
I
know you guys had talked about it earlier, the spraying the perfume for Rosie thing, but that really got me because when I was little, I had really bad attachment anxiety with my mom, and I had a little stuffed bunny, and she would spray her perfume on my bunny so that I could like snuggle up to it and sleep at night.
Yeah.
So him doing that for Rosie, I was like, Mommy.
The fact that it instantly calmed her down, but like, also this baby, an actress.
Oh,
She was
here's,
good.
here's a fun fact. It was actually twins. It was like twin babies. And Martin Freeman, I was really doing my research on this one.
Yeah.
I was like reading interviews from him from the movie, and he said that the twins were like great babies and they were like super easy to work with. And obviously they like rotate them out depending on which one's like being a baby or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just said they were like really easy to work with. And
I think a lot of kids like that are twins because like child labor laws and stuff.
Yeah, you can only work for like a certain
Yeah, that's why Mary-Kate and Ashley would switch out all the time. Like,
yep.
I forgot to say, I thought it was really funny that Etta just sits there in the dark, just waiting for somebody to show up.
Just waiting to click on a light.
Yeah, like somebody like
She's
walks
just, like, in the chair.
and she just doesn't react until the flashlight. She's like waiting to jump scare people. She's like,
it's very Bo-Katan, just like sitting in her throne, just like waiting for someone to perceive her. It's like
she's been there for like 38 days.
It's like just unmoving.
When she first flipped it on though, I was just like, because it was kind of dark, I was like, is she sick?
Or is she dead or is she infected or whatever? It does really it is kind of interesting how little context they give for like how long this has been going on and stuff, because it's like, okay, given that we have been through a pandemic and there even though the vaccine came out relatively quickly, it still took
a while,
a year to start being distributed. So it's like, okay, how long would it have taken a government to get those kits out? And like, how long realistically do you think they've actually been in it? A year, more, less, 6 months?
I think it has to be at least a year with the state of things.
Yeah, like almost everyone's like gone.
Man, just think of like having something like that and the government's only option is, here's a tool to off yourself.
Like, thank you very much.
That's a pretty dire situation.
Bomb them. Keep bombing them.
Airstrike. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all domestic terrorists.
That's that one chick in The Last of Us. She was like, bomb them. Bomb the whole city.
Yeah. That's kind of your...
Because it starts in India?
Jakarta.
Yeah.
In The Last of Us.
Yeah. And he's like, what do we do? And she was like, bomb the city.
Bomb everyone.
Bomb it.
Oh yeah, when she says, bomb it.
Yeah,
that was a dark intro.
Yeah.
To that episode of like,
I kind of liked that Cargo didn't give us a lot of like lore and backstory, because sometimes I feel like then your brain is like picking it apart and being like, well, but if it was, you know.
Yeah, there is like zero exposition.
They're just like zombies.
This is just what's happening.
Yeah. Because I was the same. I was the same what you said earlier, Pumpkin, about how like I didn't know that it had started until you pull up and he's like got a gun at the birthday party, and I'm like, oh wait, are we already all sick?
Like this isn't the first bite.
Yeah, I was like, this guy's real aggro for no reason. What is happening?
Part 4. Andy assists a man named Vic, owner of a fortified shelter, and meets Vic's apparent wife, Lorraine. Andy learns that Vic uses healthy humans in cages as bait, one of whom is Toomey, to lure out the infected so he can shoot them. That night, Andy attempts suicide, believing Rosie will be cared for by Vic and Lorraine, but Lorraine stops him and reveals that she is not Vic's wife, but his captive, and Vic murdered her real husband. Vic discovers them and knocks Andy out, and as he awakens in the same cage as Toomey, they help each other escape by using the combined strength of men infected to pull open their cage. As they escape the shelter with Lorraine and Rosie in tow, an enraged Vic shoots them, inadvertently killing Lorraine.
That shit was so badass when they got out of the cage using the fucking... Can y'all see?
Can y'all see how fucking...
Oh my god, terrifying. Hello. Nightmare
He's
fuel.
just standing there menacingly. My parents' dog is so lonely.
Was it a dog? I thought it was your cat.
No, my cat's over here.
Oh,
yeah, that's my parents' dog. He's lonely, but he's not allowed in my bedroom. So he's
let him in.
No, he's stinky. I just turned around and I was like, oh, jump scare.
But yeah, as I was saying, the cage, when they got out of the cage using the like pulley system, it was just, that was so clever. I would have never ever thought of that.
I
but
love
like
how
nerve-wracking when he gets
Yes.
out, but
when
he's
he's
like,
just out and he's like, "Boop." That's not gonna work.
And they're
yeah,
gonna
he's
run
like,
out
to
of,
me, you gotta be quick. Come on.
Yeah. I think the whole dynamic of like when he first sees or like first meets Vic, it's like, oh, okay, sweet. This guy's got like a whole good setup. And then it's like, and then you think like Lorraine's all chill, and then there's that part where he kisses her, and it's very clearly like, that was weird.
I thought something was off when you first met Lorraine to begin with.
Like, yeah, I mean,
it
she's like a
seemed-
little strange, but you're not sure why.
In my notes, I said, this chick seems scared of her own husband or something. Oh, okay, no, I guess she's just scared generally. No, she is scared of him. Oh.
Yeah, it's like she's a little bit off, but you're not sure why. And then he kisses her, and you're like, that didn't feel right. Yeah, and then there's
when she's pouring the tea, she's like, yeah, he's got a plan, whatever. You're like, okay, so I guess she's just kind of nervous. Yeah. And then she like drops the bomb that like, yeah, he like let my husband die and kidnap me. I was like, oh.
But
yikes.
Have we gotten to the part where Martin Freeman goes outside? Like
where he tries to kill himself?
Yeah. So it just sucks because she was so willing to take her.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
She was like, I can do it, but just not here.
Yeah, we just can't be here.
I was like, you're a good person.
Yeah,
and she's like, I'll take care of her. I just can't do it here. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, can there just be a movie without a man that is the worst?
Like, he
not
awful.
possible.
No.
And the second we met him, I was like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
So it makes me think of a TikTok where somebody had posted where it's like something about like being friends with men or something, and she's like, I am just not friends with men. And like I wanted to comment and be like, I'm not friends with straight men.
The gay men and the trans men.
Except for Joe.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah.
He'll be devastated.
It doesn't exist.
One man.
One straight man. 2 straight men, including Cody.
Well,
yeah.
And then my brother. So
I don't know him.
You guys, it's okay if you guys don't want to be friends with him. I have to be. It's so mean though. But when she was like, when she meets them and she's like, you're the first people I've seen in a long time. Well, the first people who are still people. And I was like, not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like,
He was like,
he's like, yeah, that'd be crazy if anyone was.
I just want to know how he kept hiding, because you saw him like hide the bracelet or whatever. How did you keep hiding it? Like, because if your arm stretches, it's gonna show.
Too much about.
I wouldn't keep it on my wrist. I would keep it in my.
I would just take it. I would literally, just take it off.
Yeah, I would too.
I was worried though when she changes Rosie's diaper and finds the goo. I thought Rosie had been bitten and she was sick, and I was like, oh my god, no. And then I realized like it must have come off of him onto Rosie.
The way she like puts her a little farther away, and she's like, oh. But then she like, because she obviously gets what's going on, and then when she sees him, she's like, I cleaned her up for you. It's like,
yeah.
And that was her trying to be like, you're good.
Yeah,
like,
it's
I got
okay.
you.
I was trying to figure out like, because they were hiding and then they just run.
Why would you run?
Yeah, why would you run? I feel like, I'm sorry, that was y'all's
hide
fault
a little longer.
She died.
Yeah.
Frustrated to come off the deck.
He's gonna have to go down the stairs and then you book it.
Yeah.
We were like, why wouldn't you just kill him? Like, he's asleep.
Yes,
like, literally just kill him, and then you don't even have to leave. Like, you can just stay in this compound.
Yeah.
That is, hold a minute.
Yeah.
Hold a damn minute.
Yeah, why did they just
movie this long?
That, I will say, that's one of the few things that kept this from being like a 10 for me, was that like some of the decisions the characters make, I was like, why would you do that?
Okay, but to be fair, if you're Lorraine, like Martin Freeman or Andy, he's a goner. You both know that he's not gonna survive. So like, if you kill Vic, okay, he's dead. Andy's definitely gonna die. And then you're like just Lorraine taking care of a baby. That's not great. That's not a great situation. Like, you
Yeah,
would
but at
probably
least
need to
Vicky's
leave at
dead.
some point anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, killing him certainly was the right move, and they didn't do that. But like, I can still see her just like, I can see her option of just wanting to be gone and like find somewhere else to be is like fair, but they definitely should have killed him.
Yeah, there's a few, like Andy's wife getting on the boat after he had already cleared it out of all like the food and stuff.
Yeah.
And then him
Well, she was trying to find a razor so we could shave his beard.
And she did.
He looks good with a beard. Girl.
He looks great with a beard.
He looks great with a beard. And then like him reaching through the cars of just getting out to go get Rosie, and so he gets bit on the arm.
Yeah.
There's just a few times where I was like, guys.
I think he was just delirious and was like, my baby.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, he's like just woken up from like being knocked unconscious from a car
And I
wreck.
don't think he expected her to be completely a zombie yet.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true, because she hasn't even like, he reaches back and then we see her like look over and he's like, oh fuck. And then it's over.
I just think like, I think I've said this before. I think horror movies are so much scarier when your characters do everything right, but the odds are just stacked against them. Like you cannot win.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much scarier. Whereas when you have characters who are like making dumb decisions, you're just sitting there like, why? Why would you do that?
This was avoidable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more thoughts, or shall we move to section 5?
Section 5.
Section 5.
Section 5.
Okay. The following morning, Andy upsets Toomey when he tells her that he and her father will not get better. She runs to where she has been hiding her father, but finds her people had already discovered Willie and killed him. Initially distraught and blaming Andy for delaying her, Toomey relents and rejoins when she hears Rosie crying. They travel by motorboat to a campsite where Andy previously saw another family, but learn that the father has been bitten and plans to kill his family and himself. The father tells Andy to use the gun's last 2 bullets on himself and Rosie. When the family is dead, Andy takes the gun and considers suicide, but is stopped by Toomey. They notice smoke nearby and move to investigate, later finding Vic in a railway tunnel. Vic grabs the revolver during the struggle and shoots Andy. When Andy recovers, he finds Vic cradling Rosie and weeping over the loss of Lorraine. Vic peacefully returns Rosie to Andy and allows him and Toomey to leave. I forgot to mention this on the last section, but the part where he's like starting to turn a little bit and he's like licking the blood off the wall in that cave.
It was so disturbing.
So disturbing.
And Toomey's just watching like.
Toomey's like, okay.
I love all of those like little scenes where it's like just starting to like scratch at like the real person's conscious and like
and he sells it so well.
So good. Sorry, I meant to mention that in the last section just as I was reading this first one. I was like, oh, I want to mention that. But yeah, this section. Discuss.
Her finding her dad is so sad, and like her just like hitting herself on the head with the rock, like. And
then when she says later why she did it, she's like, "When this heel hurts, maybe this one will have too." And you're like,
"Oh my god, it's so sad.
Why is it like this?"
I thought it was interesting. She calls the zombies ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's like some Aboriginal folklore at play. That
it is something I was reading. It's like something about that shaman character in
the magic man. What she calls
in their culture, they call him the clever man.
Oh, clever.
Right.
Yeah, and so there is some. I should have reread it to clarify, but it's something about like they think that like your spirit can be pulled away from you. And like a clever man can sort of like heal that and like bring your spirit back into your body, which is why she's keeping her father alive, because she believes that like his spirit has just been like kind of pulled away from his body. And that's why she's so intent on like, we need to get the keys to the cage to the clever man so that he can put like my father's soul back in his body. And that's when Andy is like, we're not going to get better. Like, that's not how this is going to work. And that's why she gets so upset. So I think that's sort of like why she's calling them ghosts, because she's still sort of seeing them as like spirits.
Souls.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking. Cool.
Yeah. So just another added little layer of torment for you.
I was curious, did the wife, so this other guy who like ends up killing his whole family and then himself, I was sort of like,
I don't think they were infected.
I
They
was
weren't.
like, is this his wife? Know that this is the plan?
Right. That's a good question.
Because they were all just
he's sitting there digging a grave.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I just thought that was like, he just seemed like such an unlikable, weird person. And then his family was over there playing like pirates or whatever. And I was like, did you like, okay, this with your wife first?
Right.
And I'm just like, why? Like,
if they're not infected, just off yourself. And I'm sure your wife will probably be okay taking care of them.
I guess, we have talked about like, if we would off ourselves in an apocalypse scenario, and I think we all said that we would. So I can understand that we see him digging the grave when they get there, so I'm sure like him and the wife were like, yeah.
Well, she does look over at one point with like a weird look on her face, so I thought maybe she did know, because they're talking and she looks over and she gives a look and then she goes back to her kids.
Yeah, so I think maybe they're just sort of like giving the kids a last little.
Which is sweet.
Made me so fucking sad. Like, I was like really upset by this one.
I'm just like, though, girl, are you really that weak that you can't take care of your kids once he's gone? Like, what the hell?
I don't think it's that. I think like, why would you let them grow up in this world? Like, why? Like,
well, I always think, this movie's a really good example. I think A Quiet Place is a great example of like, I would so not be having sex in an apocalypse.
No. A Quiet Place 2 makes why would you have like
the thought of having a baby in an apocalypse scenario is like, honestly, the most nightmarish part of it is like,
even if I were already pregnant, abortion.
I don't know how you would.
Like in Walking Dead when she gives birth, and
it's just, that is like the most horrifying scenario.
Why
to me,
would
is
you
like
have kids?
You would just not want that. And so, okay, if we're assuming that the timeline, let's say that it's been like a year since the apocalypse has started, because Rosie's only a few months old, so she was probably like just finding out that she was pregnant when it started or whatever. So it's like, like, what do you do about it? I don't know, but it would just, that just really fucks me up. Is like, boy, I would not even be risking that. I would go, at every pharmacy, like, where is the birth control section? Come on, can we make this last?
I've been looking for a wire hanger. Like, we're not doing this.
Get all the plan B.
Especially A Quiet Place, because they're drawn to any noise. I'm like, a baby?
Yeah, if you can't even
kind of
whisper,
zombie's gonna be drawn to noise.
Yeah, but I mean, A Quiet Place is like very like, it's like you can't even like, or you're done. You're done.
Yeah, you can't even fucking whisper in A Quiet Place, or you're dead.
A Quiet Place is a great movie. I don't know if we have
so good. It had me stressed.
That would be a good alien movie.
Yeah,
we've done.
I love alien. I think sci-fi.
What did Predator fall under?
No, that was Creature Feature.
Oh,
remember what we said? Aliens not of.
Yeah. Okay, so we need.
So A Quiet Place could be Creature Feature.
Yeah.
So wait, this includes the scene in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Or we like just got there?
No, that we covered the full tunnel.
Yeah, the whole tunnel
confrontation.
Him, I like we said 28 Days Later, I love when it's like pretend to be a zombie. He was like, I'm a zombie, head against the wall.
I mean, he kind of is. There's almost a question. I almost had a question when I was watching it of like, was that an involuntary sort of move? But then you see him with the gun and it's like, okay, he did mean to do it. But there was a thought of like, oh shit, he's like,
is he like gone?
Having a moment where he's like sort of succumbing to it. One of my would you rather questions, because I feel like it's very much tropey for zombie movies to either have like a tunnel scene, which we have now seen in both movies, or some sort of stairway scene. which we saw in the last movie. So I was gonna say, if you were in a zombie movie, would you rather have to get through a tunnel or up a building staircase?
Are they fast or slow zombies? Because if they're fast, tunnel.
They're medium. They're right in the middle. They move like normal people.
Tunnel.
That's the credits music for this movie.
You guys cut out for me for so long, and I don't know if Zoom recorded it or not.
Well, we've been vibing. We can all hear each other.
Why was I the only person that couldn't hear anything?
I don't know.
That is so rude.
Grease.
We were singing Grease, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched all of Grease in one sitting.
I love it.
I do. And I love Grease too.
You love Grease too? Like the second one?
Yeah, second
That's
one.
a hot take.
That is a hot take.
Second is superior. Sorry.
That's the hottest take.
I love the strong female lead in that. The songs are also so much better. They make the T-Birds look like bumbling idiots, and I love it. Yeah, songs in the second one are way better. Those are bops.
I mean, I've only seen it once. I don't recall liking it, but Grease 2 has a 35.53 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, I will say I stand by that the Little Mermaid 2 is better than the first one, so.
Whoa, hot takes all around.
That is a hot take.
But honestly, there are some things that Rotten Tomatoes can literally suck my dick. Like, I love Van Helsing so much, and it's got like an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I could not care less.
Van Helsing's good.
It's so good.
Also, Lion King 2 is better than Lion King 1.
Whoa, okay.
I agree with that one.
I'm gonna need you all to pipe the fuck
down.
Disgrace.
You're getting a little wildin' with your hot takes here.
Lion King 2. Okay, Lion King 2 isn't better than Lion King 1, but it's just as good.
It's fine if it's good, but like, relax on saying it's better.
I was like a child.
The Little Mermaid 2
am I
sucks
attracted
actual
to
balls.
Am I attracted to a lion?
No, the lions are hot.
I
And
get it.
We don't need to get into it. We don't need to get into it on this
Coco.
podcast, but the lions are hot on purpose, and we're okay to feel that way. All right.
Disney made us furries.
Spirit
Furries are
Stallion of the
Disney's fault.
Cimarron. Spirit's a hot horse.
He's a hot horse.
Am I
He's
supposed
a
to not be
hot
attracted
horse.
to Matt Damon as a horse?
Have
He's
you guys
a hot horse on purpose. The girl horse is hot. They're hot
have
on
you guys
purpose.
seen The Great Mouse Detective?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's been a hot minute, but yeah. Is it the big rat? Are you talking about the big rat?
Is it Big Boy?
Is it the big rat? Is it the big rat?
Do you want to fuck the big rat?
Pumpkin, is it the big rat?
Do you want to fuck the big rat?
The big rat, really?
Radigan is kind of hot. Okay.
Also, what's his face from Finding Nemo? The fish with the scar.
Oh, the fish.
Oh, Gil? Gil
Yeah.
can fucking get
You
it.
can get it.
Gil can get
Wait,
it.
but
You can absolutely
isn't that Green Goblin? What's his name?
Willem Dafoe, the Willem Dafoe
yeah.
fish. Yeah.
Wait, whoa. What did I miss in the 2 seconds that I took?
We want to fuck the Willem Dafoe fish from Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Oh my
Gil.
god, does Willem Dafoe voice the one with the scar?
Yeah.
Gil.
Isn't that weird?
Gil?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Also, have you ever seen Osmosis Jones?
Yes.
Thrax is so hot, and when I looked
Wait,
up,
Hayden and
who
I
voices
are
him,
cosplaying them.
It's gonna get messy.
Thrax is so hot, but Lawrence Fishburne, I'm so sorry. He's
That comment that he makes says like, "You better lay down a towel. It's gonna get messy." Like
Thrax is so hot.
Yeah. We have to leave this in, by the way.
I'll leave it in.
I can't believe Willem Dafoe is Gil.
I know it doesn't sound like him. It's weird.
Yes,
I thought it was really. I thought it was what's his name?
Uh-huh.
mm-hmm.
I also thought that.
I was thinking that as well, so I wasn't sure if we were all on the same page.
Yeah, it's totally what's his name. I like how flat you just get.
Yeah, you just like disappear.
Just like go flat.
This can of wine was really strong, guys.
I think it's half a bottle. The can is half a bottle of wine. Isn't
It's
it?
a lot of, I mean, that's comparably, that's a lot of wine. It's like 2 glasses, yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Anyways, back to Cargo.
We're all furries, so let's get back to this movie.
I'm sorry,
we all
how did
want to
we
fuck
get
the lions, okay?
because we were talking about Grease 2, Lion King 2, the lions are hot, spirits hot. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the pipeline.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
That was
last section
necessary.
of this really sad zombie movie.
So sad.
Got a little distracted there.
Yeah,
Are we
this
ready?
feels crazy.
Part 6.
My mom listens to this podcast, so she's gonna be like, huh?
Huh?
What was that, James? Okay. Part 6. Andy enters the final stages of infection and asks Toomey to look after Rosie. He and Toomey prepare for his turning by binding his hands, putting in a mouth guard, and preparing a piece of meat on a stick, which Toomey uses to bait him once he has turned. In this manner, Toomey uses Andy to carry her and Rosie safely on his back. They eventually catch up to a party of Aboriginal warriors, and Toomey is reunited with her family. Toomey uses Kay's perfume to bring Andy back to his senses just long enough to see that Rosie is safe before he is killed. The group then returns to a large community of survivors deep in the wilderness. As Toomey and Josie check Rosie for injuries, they find Andy had painted the words "thank you" on her stomach. A tree in the community is decorated with the items that belong to Toomey and Andy.
So this was based off of that short film, right?
Yes, it is based off of a short film. Yeah.
Because as soon as he did the stick, I was like, haven't I seen this before?
I didn't know anything about it, but yeah, there is a short film called Cargo that this is based off of.
Yeah, I saw that like years ago, and so I was like, why does this feel so familiar?
Yeah.
It's so smart though to like get him to carry them as far as he can go, because like she wouldn't have the strength to like carry Rosie that far, especially with all the infected following them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the fact, like, this is what we were saying, like, if I was gonna be in like a commune or a compound, like a natural like mountain border,
it's so
like,
good,
with
so smart.
the oasis in the middle, like that is chef's kiss. They are doing everything completely correct. They're going out and like burning all the zombies, but they have their home base to go back to. Like, it's so good.
That little scene of them just like kicking ass, throwing spears into heads and shit, I was like, oh, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just fine. I'm not worried.
This is a perfect environment for Rosie to be in.
Yeah, like good for her.
I think being in the wilderness is definitely more preferable to being in the city and like a zombie apocalypse. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially since if you have the type of zombies where like they're technically dead, then like they can't last in the woods.
Yeah.
Like vultures and whatever.
They're not gonna have anything to eat, or they're all gonna starve.
They're gonna decompose.
I know we talked about this earlier, like if there's like a little part of you that like still thinks or whatever. That got me, like when she sprayed the perfume and he like, I was like, oh, they still in there somewhere.
Yeah, the way his head kind of like turns, you're like,
like, are you still in there somewhere? No.
I love the whole scene where he's like really starting to turn, but he's fighting it, but he's like, okay, like we got to do it right now. Like just in his few moments of his last moments of consciousness, he's like putting in a mouth guard, getting it all situated. And then there's that scene of him like starting to dig the hole, and she, gets him back on track. But it's just so good. It's so, the way it all plays out is so realistic and good. And I just,
it just sucks.
Bad. Hate it. And then like in the synopsis, they were saying that it was like so that he could see that Rosie was okay, but I felt like it was more, that's not really what I got from it. I got more of just like she was sort of giving him just a little bit of a sense of peace, just like one final moment, like whether he's in there or not, like it's just that like he's giving him the comfort that
it's like respect.
Yeah, it's just like a nice thing to do for him.
This movie was so sad.
So sad.
I was like, I was like,
crying.
I forgot how sad this is at the end. It's really depressing.
Yeah, I was like for real crying.
I feel like too, because I had this thought after watching Train to Busan. You know, a lot of like these dudes that are like, oh yeah, I'd love a zombie apocalypse. It'd be so cool. Blah, 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 whatever. Like I get to live out my zombie apocalypse dreams, whatever. And I'm like,
yeah.
I feel like you're not thinking about how fucking depressing this would be.
Literally everyone you have ever known is like gonna be dead.
Yeah.
And you are either gonna have to like kill them yourself or kill yourself.
Or either way, you're alive to have to be alone and know that everyone you've ever loved is dead in like a horrific way.
Like the thought of watching my parents become like mindless monsters that are trying to eat me.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'm not doing that. Blow my brains out. I'm not doing that.
Really, just an oochie ouchie kind of sitting and thinking about mortality and family, and it's a hard one.
Oh, it's one I like turned it off and I sat there and I was like,
I'm pissed now.
I was like staring off in his face, just like going in.
Like I am spiraling.
Because I love my like fun, action-packed, whatever zombie apocalypse movies. But it is also nice to have one that's like, okay, if this shit really happened, it would suck so fucking hard.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that you guys all liked it because
I liked it.
I mean, this is an obvious for a horror podcast. This is a bit of a deterrence from like being a true horror zombie movie, but
really
I just
feel like it still was
I just feel like it's like a really good zombie movie, and I feel like no one has heard of it, so it's just one of those ones where it's like I just feel like if I can introduce people to like a new good zombie movie, I wanted to be able to take that opportunity.
And I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I was reading I was reading reviews on it on Letterboxd, and someone had made a comment and was like, this is a good movie for somebody who like isn't into the horror genre but wants like a good like introduction to kind of like horror type films. They said that this was one. I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and it's on Netflix, so you would think that it would have more, I don't know,
traction,
someone talking about it, but it's just like I think we only watched it because I like saw at the time, because they sort of like rotate thumbnails, and when it first came out I saw that it had Martin Freeman in it, and I was like oh fuck yeah, I'll watch anything that he's in. And it was
Netflix
like, oh,
it's always like hit or miss, because it's like that's how I found Ritual. I was just randomly scrolling on Netflix.
Sometimes you'll just find an absolute banger.
Yeah.
And this was one that it was like I would just like randomly put it on because it had Martin Freeman in it. It was like, oh shit, that was like a really good movie.
I'm especially surprised that I'd never heard of Cargo, because I saw the original short going around. Like it was all over the internet. It came out in 2013, 14, whatever. I remember
that's
like
right, yeah, because this came out in 2017, and I think you're right, like 2013.
Yeah, I remember seeing that like short film going around, and like everybody was talking about it. And so I'm surprised I like never heard like, oh, they made like a whole movie based on it. Like, I'm surprised. And like Martin Freeman is like a big actor.
Yeah,
I've never heard of
like
this.
I mean, the last Hobbit movie came out in 13, 14, 15.
I think it was 2015. No.
15 or 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that.
So this was like pretty hot off of him being in the Hobbit movies. So you would think like.
And right after Black Panther too.
Yeah, and he's been in Black Panther too. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm surprised.
But there you go. That's kind of.
I loved it.
That was a good pick, Lauren.
Thank you. I'm really glad you guys liked it.
I'm excited to see what.
Just another one that I was like, I think it's good, and then I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes and I was like, fuck, does it suck? I don't know. I think it's better than what the ratings are giving it.
You didn't circle us again. You're good.
I would never do that to you ever.
I was nervous when you were like, well, it's not technically a horror. I was
It's like, I mean, I'm aware that it's a drama, but the category is zombie, and it's undeniably a zombie movie.
And it got scary. I was scared.
Yeah. We had a tunnel.
Moments. Yeah.
We had a tunnel confrontation. That's
The
scary.
wife on the boat, honestly, that was it might not be like horror, but it is like suspenseful at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Carson, what do you have in store for us?
What you got? What you got? I have no idea what you're picking.
I mean,
All
neither.
right, so everybody has been picking like heartfelt movies, and I'm like,
Have we?
Yeah.
Other than this one?
I mean, 28 Days Later is emotional.
Yeah.
Yours is emotional. The one that Siberia is picking is emotional.
Are you
And
about
I'm
to give
like,
us just
let me give you a movie where you just turn off your brain and you just watch somebody fight.
Are we getting
zombies.
goofy?
You might be getting goofy.
Oh, okay.
I had to rewatch it because I looked at the Rotten Tomato scores and I was like, oh, these are not good.
Uh-oh.
But it's like on the same level of like Anaconda Rotten Tomato scores.
Okay.
This is very loosely based off a video game.
Oh, I know. Okay.
This is the original Resident Evil.
Okay. I've never seen it.
This is the movie that like I got my crush on Michelle Rodriguez. I was like,
She is slay.
She is slay. And she's slaying this movie.
I feel like I maybe
it's another I had to rewatch it because it's another nostalgia pick. I was like, let me rewatch it to make sure, because I distinctly have a memory of first watching this. I was in 5th grade and I went to my best friend's house for a sleepover and she popped this movie on and I was like, I love this movie. Ah!
It has a 35%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, Anaconda had a score like that.
Okay, fair.
That's because Anaconda was bad, but I really liked it.
That's what this movie is.
This is one I feel like in the last few years I have like a faint memory of being like, I've never seen Resident Evil, let's watch it. But I can't remember if I actually did watch the first one or if I never did. Like I
don't know either because I'm looking at pictures.
I will say I like the first
one.
Resident Evil. I hate all of the sequels. They're so bad. I don't know why they kept continuing. Yeah, the sequels are awful. Like they don't make any sense. The first movie is literally just like you turn your brain off, you watch a bunch of people like kill zombies. Okay. That's what it is.
Slay.
Like there's like some action sequence.
We gotta have some diversity in our zombie picks. We need some
heartfelt, getting heavy again.
Some gore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like it's very much just like turn your brain off, watch kicks in the air, kicking a dog zombie jumping at you. Yeah.
And I feel like every category we choose has to have just like an early 2000s movie.
Yeah.
Like early 2000s.
This came out the exact same year that 28 Days Later did. So it's kind of
we gotta have like a cornball.
Yeah.
Kind of thrown in the mix. Yeah.
That's me. I'm the queen of knowing the B horror films.
Well, I'm excited to watch this
because film if we're going off like school grades.
Yeah. A 35 is an F.
Maybe it's fun though, because I feel like movies like that.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah.
Like I know I'm not giving you a masterpiece to watch.
Well, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I know that going into
if you watched it again and you're like, hell yeah, this is fun, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, same.
That's why I knew going in giving you guys Anaconda, I'm like, this is not cinema, but
it is.
We had a great time.
When you picked Anaconda, I was like, what? And then I was watching it and I was like, okay.
John Boy face.
Well, and I feel like, okay, because 28 Days Later is very like, it's certainly not goofy. It's old. It's, it's kind of got like, it's right in the middle of the road. I feel like Cargo is
not goofy. Not
goofy. Very much like very serious, very drama. So Resident Evil is going to be sort of our goofy one, and then I mean we already know it's no secret what Siberia's pick is, and that's like quintessential, like the best zombie movie. So I feel like we've like really in a beautiful way covered a really broad spectrum. Of the zombie movie.
I'm always I always throw that in there. Like when I was in college, I had my degree in theater performance, and one of the classes we took was like theater history, and we had a section where we had to like pick a play and we had to like give it like a speech to the class on why this should be picked, and then it was going to go on to like be one of the things that we did. Everybody had like, this is have this kind of meaning, this has had this kind of meaning. And when I was in high school, I did a production of Night of the Living Dead. I was like one of the main characters in it. So I went up there and I was like, I would like to do Night of the Living Dead because it's fun.
Like it's just a good old-fashioned good time.
Because a lot of times people are like forced to come see the shows. Like if you take like those normies that take those like general ed class, they're like, you have to go watch a theater show. And I'm like, I want something that people want to watch. It would also enhance skills. You got makeup, you got the costume design. Like I get it all. And my teacher was like, no, you've got to do something better than it's fun.
But you still did it.
Yes, I did have quite a few votes, but I did win. But I'm always that person that's like, let's have fun.
Well, I'm very excited to watch it. It's on Netflix, right?
Yes. Well, that's it.
So we'll see you next week for Resident Evil.
We'll see you next time with Resident Evil. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.